something near a decommissioned factory and asks the pilot to descend a bit more. The hybrid soon appears behind the building, and the pilot warns that he won't land near that thing. Talking to Bob on the radio, Paul says he has an idea, and the two agree to meet. Showing a map of the island, he states that the factory is in a hard-to-reach valley. Instead of trying to get the Dinocroc out of there, it would be better to use the valley itself as the combat arena, exploding the side tunnels to close off the exits. Now they just need to find the giant alligator and lead it there, but Bob says they need to hurry. It's already past noon, and alligators typically come out in the hottest times to hunt their prey. At the cocoa palms, the group of tourists is losing patience with the guide, who promised to show them the room where Elvis Presley stayed. The group continues on foot while the driver takes the opportunity to take a nap. The roar of the giant alligator wakes him up, and for a moment, he thinks it must have just been a dream. But when the noise continues, he looks in the rearview mirror and can't believe what he sees. There's no time to even turn the key in the ignition, and the monster jumps onto the bus, crushing the vehicle with its colossal body. While they plan how to blow up the tunnels, Bob comments to Paul that Jason needs to pay for everything he has done. Paul assures him that he won't get away this time and says he sent Kim Taft's statement to a colleague. In front of Jason's mansion, Mark is lying in wait with a female FBI agent. Victoria arrives, cursing Jason and complaining about the forced partnership with Bob. The agents storm the house shortly thereafter, accusing Jason of conducting illegal genetic experiments. When they identify Victoria as the prime suspect in the murder of Kim Taft, she decides to resist arrest and begins shooting. The agents return fire, and she is hit, while Jason starts to have a heart attack. His nurse appears and tries to help him, but he doesn't survive. While Charlie and Cassidy search for the giant alligator, a couple of tourists lose their patience and interrupt the tour. Yielding to the pressure, the guide points to Elvis's cabin and says they can head there first if they want. However, all this discussion is happening very close to the central lake, and before the couple can respond, the giant alligator swallows them. The rest of the group disperses with screams, running in all directions. Seeing that crowd of frantic tourists, Charlie quickly grabs the radio and reports that he has found the creature. Not wanting to wait for backup, he tries to confront the monster alone and tells Cassidy to run. Crying, she pleads with her father to come with her, but he prefers to help her buy time. The giant alligator devours Charlie shortly thereafter, to the despair of his daughter. Moreover, his sacrifice doesn't help much, as the monster is already right behind the car as soon as she starts the engine. Paul is horrified when she calls him on the radio and says she's leading the giant alligator to the valley. He warns her that it's too risky and asks her not to do it, but she tells him that the beast took her father, and now it's personal. Paul and Bob then make some adjustments to the plan to help Cassidy escape once the giant alligator arrives. Minutes later, the car goes through the tunnel with the monster following closely behind. Bob detonates the bombs, and the hybrid begins to take notice of the trap. Cassidy gets out of the car right in the middle of the valley, and the giant alligator is ready to attack her when it comes face to face with an equal foe. Paul and Bob join Cassidy behind a tractor to watch the duel. The creatures clash, spreading destruction throughout the valley and breaking a tank full of sawdust. Paul decides to move closer to act at the right moment and asks Bob to give him the leftover explosives. The Dinocroc comes out on top in the fight, flipping the giant alligator onto its back before the final attack. Paul throws the dynamite and jumps into a watering trough before the explosion. Cassidy becomes anxious as smoke covers everything, but soon she sees that he managed to escape unscathed. The other good news is that the two monsters have finally been defeated. The survivors celebrate with relief and leave.